Hey everybody, Brandon Bryan here from Red Tree Builders, custom home builder in Asheville, North Carolina. Today, we're reviewing Thermory siding. We're going to give you the pros, the cons, how we installed it. We've done this on 5 houses now. Kind of give you the pro inside tips, what we've learned, and to make your success if you choose to use this product. So what is Thermory modified product? So Thermory, that's the name brand of the company. The product itself, it is the Kleenex of tissue paper, but maybe more in our industry, it would be like the Hardy of fiber cement. A lot of people will say, hey, I want some Hardy, and that actually may mean that they just want fiber cement. It may not actually be the brand name. So when you look up thermally modified wood, you're probably going to see Thermory. They've got the name. There's other companies out there doing the same product. Here's what it does. They heat up the wood to like some crazy amount. We'll have that somewhere here and actually fact check what it was, because I don't have no service here, but I think it's 5,000 degrees. I don't really know. I should know that. Anyway, they heat it up really, really hot. They take out all the moisture out of the wood. And then what this will do, you keep it from rotten, mildew, any of those things you typically might get from wood. So it's really just been heated up, been modified. Now all of a sudden, it doesn't have that moisture content that you worry about with wood. So you don't even have the movement issues that you might have as well. So that's the reason why you kind of look for the Thermory modified. So here I have this 4-inch piece of Thermory siding, which is on the house behind me. So you can see right here, it's got a tongue and groove built into it and a receiving end as well. The cool thing with the Thermory product is that there's multiple different sizes you can get. This is ash. You can get the house behind us, it's right next door to us, is a pine house. So as you can look right here, that's pine. So it's got a different grain texture. That's with a lighter stain. This came pre-oiled. And you can see from here on this house how now you got more of cleanness. So it has a lot to do with the wood that you pick and also the stain. This can come pre-stained, not pre-stained. So we'll talk about that. Let's just head to that. So here I am with a stack that we have here, this Q-Tech oil. So on 2 of our houses, we've got it pre-oiled in the factory, already came to us. And then some of it, we've got unoiled. We've either done it on site or not even put oiled at all. The house right here, you can see it's got more of a light wood look to it. The other house, super dark over here. Now, do you want that to continue to look that way? We can have to continue to maintenance of oil to it, and that would be this. And it brings it right back and restores it almost instantly. Here's what we've learned. We've got a couple of houses with a lot of sunlight. As we're even putting it up, it had already started to shade out. The darker level had already started getting lighter. Hadn't went to gray yet, but I would think that we would be in there within at least another year to fully grayed out. So one of the things you want to really think about is am I cool with it graying out, or am I cool with spending the amount of money to yearly maintain just coming in here? So this one right here I've got is the Protect. There's one that's Repair, but you just imagine the expense that you would have continually every year, every 2 years, re-oiling this to get the look that you want. So you can see from this house, this is a house we finished up last year. And you can see based on how the sun hits this house, we've got dark parts still here from where we put the Q-Tech oil on, definitely underneath here in the carport. But on the side of the house, it gets a lot of like early east and south sunlight, and you can see how light it's already getting. But then around up in the soffits and over here in this one little corner, how it's still got a dark shade to it. I think it's kind of cool. It kind of gives it the age look. But again, this house, this is less than a year for this house being up. So depending on how you want to make it look and how you want it to look, this is really the biggest consideration that you have. Talking a little bit about the install of the product. Here I got the furring strips. This is Protect plastic furring strip. You can see right in here, you've got the vents that allow it to open up, allow moisture, water, anything to work its way through. So at the end of the day, you would want to treat this just like any other type of wood siding and putting a furring strip in. So you can see up here, we've got some furring strips on this piece going in here. But even here, you can see where we've done flashing and cutting and where it come up. We've got a little bit of open gap right here at the bottom to allow the moisture to come out. All the way up there, we've got an open joint as well. And each time we've had this break of transition, you'll see some flash in there. So what we still want to do is protect. This is going to get a stucco application here, but you can see we're going to allow that wood to be able to dry out, protect. So why would we want to do the furring strips? Thermory recommends it. It's kind of turnkey. They've sent us this furring strips with it. Of course, you want to make sure that you're having the best chance for your product to succeed. Not a big, hard technical thing to do. You can see here, we're just putting nails in, laying it up. You've got to obviously have a pattern, make sure that you're running it. So we're running vertical siding. We're going to run it this way, right across here. One channel here, keep working our way up. We want to make sure we've got one at the very bottom down here for like a bug screen so you don't get bugs and animals up in there. I guess there's not animals, it's probably insects. But do know that you got to plan for that, definitely with your windows, with furring strips, how you're going to do your flashing details. Not that big of a deal, but it is another step. On a house as tall as this, it did add a little bit extra to our cost from labor as well. One of the things we've learned in ordering Thermory on now 5 jobs is this is how it comes to us. It's packaged as well. So just a pro tip, you better verify and check what you got, the account of it, definitely before you break the bands. Take some pictures, verify what you got. Some of the things that we've noticed when we've got the product as you come here is that we'll break this loose, and I'm not going to do it right here, but some of these tongues, so you can see a piece right here, we've got to have the tongue, that some of this, when we break it loose, these tongues are broke. It's just been hit somehow or another. We found that to be more when we went and had it stained in the factory. So Thermory sends that to another place to get that stained. It doesn't come the same packaged. And so we have found that we've had pieces that are broke. You know, same thing can happen even when it gets delivered and dropped off. You can look at this. This was well put together. I don't think we had this issue here, but we've had it quite a bit. So we're typically adding a 20% waste instead of a 10% waste on this product. So here's one thing, we was talking about the maintenance of the material. If we come here and get a little closer, this was pre-oiled, and you can see where they stopped pre-oiling them right here, and you can see how quickly the difference of that, how that oil really brings the richness out of the wood. And so sometimes even when we get them pre-finished, there'd be some of these ends not done. That's why they send you that so you can do it on site. Some of this will be cut. Again, you can see right in through here, we've got some good pieces in here, just counting it. What we found is also we've ended up getting some shorts when we ordered the full amount. So really doing an accurate takeoff, 20%, maybe 25%, just depending on the style of the home you got on a waste factor. You're going to get a lot of freight costs on this. So what you don't want to do is have to get a second order or a third order for sure. So you want to just definitely make sure that your takeoff actually at 20%. When you bring it in, check the tongues, make sure that you're verifying how much has actually been non-usable, stacking that aside, making sure that you let your supplier know about that. Maybe that is to such a degree that you might need to get some more. The other thing is when we got these stacks, we found some that have been different lengths within the stack. It wasn't always consistently the same size. So there's some definitely from your site superintendent, project manager, paying a lot of attention of like, what sizes did I get? Did I get what I wanted? What we've learned a lot with this product is we wanted a 5-inch. Now there's not enough quantity for the whole house of that, so we have to go to this 4-inch. So the supply of this product was always in question about how much they actually had. Can we get it? Are we waiting 4 months for it, 6 months for it? We've had some long lead times. I'm talking astronomically long lead times. And this is what I would consider post-COVID, shouldn't be related to that. The other thing is just availability. So, hey, by the time we get it, we got a price, we get a sign off, and coming back to order, we've been told, hey, that product isn't available now. So be prepared for that. Really plan ahead, plan way early ahead, and maybe even be planning to lock in order But again, you don't want this product sitting on site for a long time before you need it. A, because of the weather. B, if you're definitely trying to treat it. But C, it could already start turning color on you. So there is that balance of just, you know, planning and coordination, which is what custom home building is doing. All right, so we want to wrap this up with what pros, cons, what our final verdict would be. So here's the pros. Some fantastic wood products. So if we're going to do a house with wood and we don't want to have the maintenance of like anything to worry about rot and splitting, movement with moisture. Moisture is our #1 enemy when it comes to building. So think about that. This would be a great product. Also, it gives you plenty of flexibility in sizes, the look. It gives you the ability to have a beautiful house or let it age out as well. I think here's what would be our cons for us. A, it's the price. It's really expensive, and being able to keep that price locked in and keeping it consistent and knowing when the product has to change, you have to pick the siding widths different. They have a lot of offerings. Something we learned is we put this siding up, this particular house, and reading the instructions and even having the rep here, we wasn't exactly sure which side we was putting it on. We ended up putting it up on the back side wrong, according to that, even though we didn't quite figure it out. This one typically has a lot of hidden fasteners here. We learned that actually that tongue is not that strong, so you got to be really careful because that would blow out a lot. So we had waste. So that takes me back to one point I've made earlier, is the amount of waste and extra that you have to end up ordering. We didn't have left over on 5 jobs. There was only 1 job that we had any little bit of leftover. We ended up having to order and continue to order, which then added to our cost as well. We haven't had the best service, and sometimes it matters to us as a builder, hey, what kind of product it is, what kind of service can we get ahead and then the tail end. I hadn't had the best experience with that. That can be come and go depending on the area, but for us, not for us. And then lastly, I think I see this being really good product for an accent wall or for a featured wall. So A, why would I say that? A, you know, the maintenance of it and the cost to keep it up and keeping it looking good would be a low cost to you and something you can manage. Second of all, just purely from a budget price and just from the ability to get it and get an accurate account for it would be that. It may sound like we can't do takeoffs. We can, just planning on way more, but this was more than we was learning. We had been reading 10%, I'm still going to tell you 20. But it just has a beautiful look, so and it just pops. Now granted, these houses we're showing to you, every one of them is all fully Thermory. So I think it's a beautiful product. We get a ton of comments about it anytime we post anything with these exterior, these photos, and I love it. Just know going into it that you're going to have way more cost than you thought. You're going to have to order more product than you thought. You're going to need to take time, check your product coming in, the quantity of it, and then the condition of it as well. And then would I recommend the pre-oil, not pre-oil? I'm indifferent when it comes to that. I think we can do it just as good here on site. You know, factory is always better if you can get anything factory oiled, painted. We like that, but then as you can tell, it didn't sustain, the stain did not sustain any longer. It did not stay any longer on what we put on site compared to what was already done in the factory. So there is that. It's the exposure to the sun. This product where I'm standing right now has 2 different shades, and it's all based on when the sun hits this side, doesn't hit that side. I think that the variety of that is a beautiful thing. So going into it, Red Tree, love using the product, love how the finished product looks like. At the end of the day, we'll probably be exploring other companies as well to kind of get a price difference, service when it comes to that, because there's now a lot more products than just Thermory in this Thermory modified wood siding category.